It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Flannel Sam, filling in for the great Ryan Ermanni, and to my right is Braylon Edwards. Braylon, how are you doing on this lovely Friday afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. Friday is haircut day for me, so I got a haircut. And
I thought it was Thursday.
It moved to Friday.
Right.
I think it's Friday gets you through the weekend, gets you nice and smooth, and you're able to go. But I told the barber, I said I've been growing this hair out for a while. So why don't you cut it down a little bit? I'm 40, feeling good, looking good, so he cut it down a little bit. So Maz, I think I'm doing all right with the cut, man. I think I look very youthful, if you will.
That 40's still flying high behind you, though, man. You're looking good.
And age,
not a day over 30.
Appreciate that, man. Age ain't nothing but a number, man. It's funny I seen that song because I did go to school with Aaliyah when I was at Jay-Z back in the day. So shout out, rest in peace to my Aaliyah. Age ain't nothing but a number. Oh,
hey, man. Last night in bowling, I got to tell you guys this story.
Speaking of numbers.
We were in first place, and we're playing this team that was right behind us. It's position week, so you play whoever's right next to you. So we had a couple of game lead on them. We take the first game. Next game, guy shoots 300 against us. Shout out to Andrew Burke. Congratulations, Harbor Lanes. The next game, Nick Capera shoots 279 against us. So we lost 2 out of 3, and it just wasn't our night. But I'm looking forward to another week. And then Fish went bowling last night with Stick and the great Adam. Not Adam, I'm sorry. The great Art Smith from the old days. Art Smith, one of our favorite sons from back in the day. And so
how'd they bowl?
I think they bowled every game under 100.
Probably combined. Probably combined under 100.
It looks like they had a good time.
Stick's an athlete. I got to give Stick at least a 125. I can stick 125.
So that's it, man.
Yeah, what we know for sure is, Maz, you would wipe the floor with all of them, and you probably did.
Whoa. We got a date with Destiny, me and this one down here. Because I won the outing last time we went. That's all I'm saying. I'm ready.
I wasn't there.
I'm ready. Hey, I'm ready for the smoke.
All right.
But the guy that you told me was supposed to be that, I beat him.
Scotty G didn't have his equipment.
He did have his equipment because I beat him with his own ball.
All right.
Braylon, I didn't mean you.
I was
talking about Fish, Stick, and Art, of course. I'm sure you did wipe the floor with them. Tom
I did get my power
yes.
back, though.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
Living without power is just, it's the worst.
What do you do, Sam, what do you do without power?
My God, without power? Here's the thing. I have to sleep with a fan.
Okay.
So if I have to sleep without power, I would rather sleep in my car. I'm not even kidding. I'm one of those. I'm a little hardcore about it. But fortunately, I never did lose power. But I did lose internet. We already mentioned Tom Mazawey. We got JB Smooth in the sound booth. JB on this Friday afternoon. How are you rolling in the weekend?
I'm doing good. Just, ready to get the weekend started as soon as I can. But you already know I have some work to do this weekend. So it's not a restful work weekend for me.
I know more than just about anybody, honestly. And how about our main man in the technical director booth, Fletch? Fletch, I already know you were excited and on a level about that Red Wings win last night.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. I didn't catch as much of it as I should have, but they're making me feel good. I was getting mad at the beginning of the season. I was yelling at the TV with them, and I think Lalonde's pulling it together. I'm super stoked to see where they go. I mean, even if they don't make the playoffs this season, they're going somewhere. It's the right direction.
They will make it.
You can't put that energy out there, baby. I'm all in now.
Yep.
Now I'm all in now. These Red Wings are going to make the playoffs, Sam. I tell you. I'm excited. Yesterday, before we finished the show, Sam, we said the Detroit Red Wings coming to the season, Red Wings fans want them to challenge the competitive teams, challenge the Oilers, challenge the Rangers, challenge the Lightning, challenge the Avalanche, challenge those teams, but then be competitive in those games, but also feel like we could get there to the playoffs, feel like we were right there on the bubble. Well, last night they didn't only challenge the Rangers, who at one point were the favorite to win the Stanley Cup last season. Maz, in your words, what did they do, Maz?
They dog walked them.
Maz, talk about it.
A beautiful game. I had it on. It was on every television last night at Harbor Lanes, and I just couldn't take my eyes off them. They looked great. Dirty. Did you see that dirty cross-check late in the third period? I mean,
made my heart smile.
You should have took them right out of the game and suspended them. But you know what? They beat the Rangers, who were great on the road. They were 17-5-5 coming into last night's game, and they beat the daylights out of the Red Wings about a month ago. And they didn't forget. Yeah. Red Wings came back, and they just took it to them. They just look like they are ready to go. And they're going to be buyers, I think, at the trade deadline, which is coming up. NHL trade deadline is always cool.
7 out of 8 wins now for the Detroit Red Wings, and we talked about it yesterday. You talked about Villahuso. I was excited to get him in offseason. He was going to help stop the bleeding. They would score 6 points last season, but they would give up 7, 8 goals. Seeming as though they're stopping that. Is also another guy from the free agency, Cobb. Cobb was tremendous last night. 3 points, 2 assists, 1 goal. When you win in free agency, man, you have a good season.
Oh, yes. Speaking of 7 of 8 wins, it's got me feeling a certain way. Look at what I got right here.
He's drinking not the
Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid, but the Red Wing Kool-Aid, because last night was the biggest win a professional sports team in Detroit has had at LCA ever. And if you will allow me, got some Kool-Aid to chug.
Take a sip there, Sam.
Take a sip.
Good for you.
Okay, chug it then. Oh, he's going all in. Ladies and gentlemen, that was more than a sip.
Wow.
That was more than a sip of the Red Wings juice. This man's all in. Flannel Sam, why are you all in on the Detroit Red Wings?
I am all in because when there was a time in the season post All-Star break when they were teetering a little bit, they responded going 7 out of 8, including 4 wins on the road, 3 on the West Coast. Unbelievable.
They never do that.
They never do that. And it's the way they are built. The Yzer plan is coming into fruition. You've got Dylan Larkin having the best season of his career in these 8 games. 13 points. That is some 1C type of energy right there. And if you're telling me for sure that Dylan Larkin isn't a 1C,
come on, Dylan.
You know what? He might not be, but he's playing like one now, and he is going to get paid. He has earned his money. And you even talk about last night. They not only beat the New York Rangers, they beat that ass. They dog walk them. They curb stomped them. Every single adjective that you can possibly use is what the Red Wings did against a team that is above them, a team that is better than them. But the Red Wings protected home ice. It was probably one of the more electric atmospheres at LCA I've ever seen. I wasn't there, but you could just feel it on TV. It was unbelievable. And we talk about guys who are contributing. David Perron, free agent, 2 assists last night. Filip Hronek, defenseman, had a goal. He's their highest scoring defenseman, and he has a career high in plus-minus of +12 this season. Andrew Kopp, who you mentioned, a goal and 2 assists. Michael Rasmussen, a 2017 first-round pick, who had looked a little bit like a bust before this season, but is contributing, having his best season of his career. And even Filip Zadina, a first-round draft pick who has basically been a complete and utter bust in the NHL so far. Let's just call a spade a spade. But when you talk about hockey, you need lines. You need to be deep, like 3-4 line deep. And even if you are a bust like Filip Zadina, you can contribute in a game like this. You can score a goal on one of the biggest game of the season so far. And we talk about defensively. In the last 8 games, they've only allowed 16 goals, which is 2 per game. And offensively, they've scored 32 goals, which is 4 per game. That is an unbelievable ratio. I've never seen a Red Wings team since way back in the day when they were actually making the playoffs have this good of a stretch of hockey. It is unbelievable to see, and it's built upon young guys, free agents. They're here to stay.
Yeah. I never was a fan of the term bust. And the only reason I wasn't is because as you really start to pay attention to draft picks, it depends on what city draft picks goes to, who's coaching those cities, what team, how was management at the time, where's your mindset at the time, what goes on. I was always of the favor of maybe disappointed with the pick or something along those lines, because people revamp themselves, people rebuild themselves, re-image themselves. There's been a lot of players that have just needed a new space, needed a new place, or they needed a new situation. So it seems like maybe Zadina's found a little bit of that magic, new situation for him, and now he's having a little bit of success.
Isn't it something how it's like a chemistry project that you keep trying and you keep trying and you see a little move here, a little move there by Steve Yzerman, and now you see it coming to fruition, just like what Brad Holmes is doing with the Lions. You see little dink here, little dink there. Oh, we're going to bring back that 3-win team. Why are you bringing back a 3-win team? We know something about these guys. These guys, the Lions and this Red Wing team, are all coming together right when they need to. And it's great to watch. And hopefully they're going to give us a great decade ahead.
The good thing is, I mean, the key is you see it. That's the key. The key is Detroit Lions fans are seeing what Brad Holmes is doing. They're seeing what Dan Campbell is maturing into. You're seeing what Steve Eisman is doing with the Red Wings. You're seeing that process. I think it hasn't been the case in the sports and Detroit franchises. You haven't seen what they were talking about. Al Avila told us forever, this is what's going to happen. We didn't see it. Name the Detroit Lions coach, and I'll tell you what he has said, and you didn't see it. Red Wings, they struggled. They struggled for the last 12 years, I would say. Now you're starting to see it come to fruition. That's all fans want to see, I think, in any sports and any town, is you want to see what people are talking about to make sure they're not blowing smoke.
Think about this, and this kind of speaks to the depth of talent that the Detroit Red Wings have. This season, they have 8 players who have scored at least 29 points. We're just talking offensively.
Yeah.
Tyler Bertuzzi hasn't. He's been hurt. He's back. Jacob Verana has missed basically the entire season. He's back. Robbie Fabry missed a huge chunk of the season. He is back. They are not only good, they are as healthy as they've ever been. And you have 3 goal scorers who haven't been able to count on. You haven't been able to count on throughout the whole season, and now they are all back. In addition to, they've got a goalie, they've got a young defenseman in Mo Sider. Ben Sherratt is the veteran that's been sort of paired with him. I love this team, man. Yeah. This is the most excited I've been about a Red Wings team in years, and it kind of mirrors, like Tom Mazawey said, about the excitement that we all felt for the Detroit Lions this season, because they were actually in a playoff push, and the Red Wings are in a playoff push, and I think at this point they are very well set up to not only be in a push, but make it, and make it comfortably.
Yeah, last 2-3 years, last 3-4 years, if you're a Detroit fan, you're looking for the team to celebrate. Yep. You're looking for the team to cheer for. Man, as the football season starts, as soon as it's in the 4th week, season's over.
Correct.
You can't cheer for that. Then that season's over with. You stumble in the LCA to watch the Pistons. It's no good there because they're not winning. And then you're like, well, our once proud Red Wings hockey town, they're a shell of them former selves. So you just haven't had anything to cheer for. So now, in a season where the Detroit Lions win 8 out of 10 in the last 10 games of the season, almost get to the playoffs, you have that momentum riding into what they're going to have in the offseason and the draft. And now the Detroit Red Wings are giving you something to cheer for as well. So what Steve Yzerman and what Darren has been saying on the show for the better part of 2 years, trust the Yzer plan, is now coming to fruition. So you're having something else to cheer for. It's not a dead period. Man, I'm happy. I'm happy for Detroit fans because you guys deserve it. You guys have been miserable for the last 8 years or so.
Look how hard the Pistons played last night. They're a bucket that probably shouldn't have counted. A buzzer beater beat them against Orlando on the road. They were a 7-point underdog. He came down to the last shot. They could have won that game against Paolo Banchero and the Magic. He's going to be Rookie of the Year. And then look what Michigan did. What did I tell you they do? They dog-walked Rutgers.
They did.
They won it from start to finish. That was easy money, and I gave it to you yesterday.
How much you bet?
Watch out! I only put $20 on them.
You want money back?
I know. They were plus 170. So I made a few bucks.
Yeah,
almost doubled my money.
That's good, man.
That's no big deal. I'm just saying. I'm not a big bettor anymore.
A win is a win.
A win's a win, man. Win's a win.
What a night of sports. You got Michigan beating Rutgers, holding them to 45 points. It's a win on the road in the Big Ten against a team with a winning Big Ten record. That is absolutely huge.
And it was favored to win, too.
It was a great win, and they're really bolstering their tournament hopes. You need wins like that if you're Michigan, if you want to get in.
Got to keep going, man.
Absolutely.
Noticed I ignored Maz when he said they almost beat Orlando. I was like, Orlando's like the worst team in the NBA.
Well,
I'm not giving you points.
They do have a Rookie of the Year on that team.
This is true. He is deserving of a Rookie of the Year, but they also have the worst record in the NBA.
And our old friend Franz Wagner, who's showing out.
Michigan guy.
Absolutely. Well,
we keep losing, Pistons, but lose like this.
Yeah, this is true.
We've got a huge show planned for you today. We've got Rogelio Castillo of Woodward Tigers joining us at about 2:44. We're going to talk some Lions, Michael Brockers, and there's a certain all-time great linebacker who is all of a sudden just got cut. Maybe the Lions should get him, and we're going to also talk about Aaron Glenn. But first, I have to tell you about Les Stanford. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know. Go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, if you're looking for a Chevrolet or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn. Silverado trucks in stock, ready to drive off. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. lesstanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
with four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
At Alta, uptime matters. You know it. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today. They've got you covered. Call them at 844-GO-2-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, ALTA.
Rolling along here on a Friday. Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz live on the Woodward Sports Network. I am Flannel Sam filling in for Ryan Ermanni. To my right is Braylon Edwards, and of course we have Tom Mazawey in the Maz chair, JV Smooth in the sound booth, and Flesh on the ones and twos. So there was a certain move that the Lions made today that surprised absolutely no one and can clear up a lot in cap space, and that, of course, they finally cut Michael Brockers, a guy who was basically a healthy scratch for most of last season. He really didn't do a whole lot, and cutting him will save the Detroit Lions $10 million, and it already shows up in Spot Track. The Lions now have about $26 million in cap space. So you've got all that $10 million just for cutting Michael Brockers, who was basically a nothing burger this past season. Braylon Edwards, do you have any? Michael Brockers. What even do you have to say about that?
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. No, I'm joking. At the end of the day, you never want to see guys go. You hate cutting players. But it's a dirty business. It comes with the territory. Michael Brockers, good guy. I heard him talk a few times. Leader on that team to a certain extent, but we need guys that are playing. We're in a phase now. This is. I know how many Marvel fans out there. This is like phase 4. Phase 4 is serious. We're creeping into Phase 5 King Dynasty. You're getting to the end. This is what we want, and we're getting to that space now where we believe we're challenging for the NFC Championship game next year, and potentially how that goes, the Super Bowl. So you got to make every penny count, every dollar count, and it's got to be going towards players that are on that field, and they're making this team better and win. Hey, look, at the end of the day, man, Michael Brockers, hope everything goes well with you on the other side. But it's about the Detroit Lions and what they're going to do. And clearing up cap space like that, this just makes them even stronger in free agency, especially with free agents happen to jump on the list from time to time.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? He had a bad fit from the day he got here. If you remember how he opened his Lions career, who did he kind of trash? Jared Goff. Then what happened the day after? Jared Goff got traded over here to the Lions. I'll never forget that. And he had to backtrack. He had to go meet Goff at the airport and apologize and say, hey, I didn't mean anything by it, blah, 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 blah. And then last year, he was my guy, man, because every Lions pregame show that I was on, we did the not the cuts, but the inactives.
Oh, yeah.
I would always depend. Michael Brockers was on my inactive list, so he'd be the first name. Inactive today. Oh, Michael Brockers.
Whether you read it or not,
inactive today.
He was on there.
So I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
But you know what? He was a veteran that Brad Holmes knew in L.A. He came here. He might not have been the best football player fit for this team. He still was a good veteran voice. And I think he took care of his guys.
And that's what I said. And he was a good leader to a certain extent. Exactly what Brad Holmes wanted for the time. A guy that wasn't going to cost a lot of money. Going to come on right now with where they were at last year going into that 3-13-1 season. And he was the perfect guy for the job.
You might as well have called him Udonis Brockers then. Just that veteran leadership who never really played.
That's a valuable role, though. I think that's a role in the NBA that they need more of. You got to have that veteran guy on the bench, man.
All right, fair enough. Coming from a professional athlete, I understand that. Well, speaking of the Detroit Lions defense, I think we all liked the way that their season ended, and it looks like Aaron Glenn, they're looking to sign him to an extension. And I know that the overall numbers, they don't look very pretty when you talk about the totality of their season. But under Aaron Glenn, in the last 10 games, the Lions defense gave up 20.2 points per game, which would have been good for 7th in the NFL over an entire season. In 6 of those games, the Lions gave up less than 20 points, and in all of those games, the Lions won. They were 6-0. And then look at how the young guys developed under him. Aiden Hutchinson led the NFL rookies in sacks and also had 3 interceptions. James Houston, a 6th-round pick, was 2nd amongst all rookies in sacks. And then Malcolm Rodriguez, all-rookie team defense as a linebacker as a 6th-round pick, and Kirby Joseph, 6 forced turnovers, 4 interceptions, including 3 against Aaron Rodgers. And in those games against the Packers, the Lions went 2-0 and held the Packers to 12.5 points per game. So are we all in on Aaron Glenn at this point?
Yeah, we definitely are all in on Aaron Glenn. I think we were in on Aaron Glenn early on in their tenure 2 years ago, but because we gave them the excuse, undermanned. You looked at how bad they were in terms of talent-wise on the defensive side, and he still managed to be in some games. He still managed to have some moments. And then last year starts off terrible. Like, it's not looking good. They fire their DB coach. He's a sacrificial lamb, if you will. But then he picked it up. He picks it up on the back end. And I think the bigger thing and why it's good is because now you got a second-year Aiden Hutchinson, you got a second-year James Houston, you got Kirby you have Kirby Joseph. Kirby Smart, we know where he coaches at. You have Kirby good. Joseph, he's pretty good as well, right? You have more draft capital this year. You're starting to make room for more free agency money so you can get some players in. This should be a really good year, and I don't want to have to deal with the coaching carousel every year. I think by extending Aaron Glenn, this is now next season when you go into the off season after going to the NFC Championship or winning a first playoff game, and now we got to play musical chairs again. Is Ben Johnson going? Is Aaron Glenn going? The fact that he's extending today, at least that gives you stability with your defensive coordinator and your head coach. Ben Johnson, we know is going to leave, but at least you get stability there.
Hey, you remember the beginning of the year when they were giving up 45 points, 40 points, 39 points.
Aubrey Pleasant, there's
Aubrey Pleasant. Now he's in L.A. He's with Sean McVay with the Rams now. He went to the Packers. Now he's with the Rams. Yeah, he was the sacrificial lamb. And it turned out that, things picked up when Ben Johnson started calling a better game. But Aaron Glenn got this team right. Let's face it. After the first 6 games, like you said it, what are they, top 7 in the league?
Yeah,
that's pretty damn. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
He did his job. They respected him. And that's all you could ask for. And you know what? They're bringing him back. He did get some interviews for a head coaching position. I think eventually he will be a head coach for sure. And I expect this team to even get better this year. I'm thinking a top 10 defense. I'm going to go crazy and say a top 10 defense this year. I already like what they have, and they're going to add to it. And there's a lot of players out there that you can just go and pay them a couple dollars and bring them on in as well.
I don't think what Madison saying is blasphemous, especially we'll get into that. I mean, you have an NFL draft upcoming. You have draft. You have some good picks. You have 6. You have 18. You have 48. Then you got some money. We'll talk about another guy that interests me that you can potentially pick up. We've talked about some other guys that are potentially available for the Detroit Lions to pick up. So, based off that defense could be in that. Defenses are ever shifting around the NFL. Players are moving. How many people were on that Eagles team before the season started? How many people are going to be on that team when it's over? But the other good thing about it is it takes me back, Maz, to what? It takes me back to what Aaron Glenn said when he was at the podium his first year with the Detroit Lions. What did he say?
I want to be the best.
I want to be the best defensive coordinator the Detroit Lions have ever seen. After the way he finishes this year, gets some interviews, says I'm cool, I'm coming back, and now extends. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's putting his mouth where his money is.
Well, and the thing is, and the reason why I mentioned all the rookies and how well they played last season, I know that Brad Holmes gets a lot of credit for drafting them, but Aaron Glenn's got to get a ton of credit for developing these players. Like
them in there.
Like James Houston, before the season, he was cut. He comes back and has 8 sacks in 7 games during a stretch when the Lions defense was actually playing really well. And you saw in Hard Knocks the way he was coaching, the way Aiden Hutchinson was developing.
Say that first piece again, Sam, because I don't think that people really understood what you said. He was what before he had 8 sacks?
Before 8 sacks,
he was cut.
He was cut. And in 7 games, 8 sacks. That is 1.14 sacks per game, which if you did that over a full career, that is alien. Like nobody will ever do that. That is
Lawrence
equivalent
Taylor.
to
times 10
in a 17-game season, 19.4.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. And as talented as these guys are, you need to be coached. They need to be developed. And those were kind of, a lot of them, like Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, even Kirby Joseph to an extent, were kind of diamonds in the rough. They weren't first-round draft picks. And when you have a young defense, you're going to have some struggles at the beginning. Nobody expected them to struggle as bad as they did, being historically bad. But to Aaron Glenn and that defense's credit, they turned it around in a way that I don't think any of us expected. Most of us were expecting roll the tanks in at that point, but they didn't. They bounced back. And the defense improvement correlated 100% with the Lions' improvement.
I thought it was over. I thought it was over. When we were talking about seasons, when we start back to preseason picks, Ryan Ermanni said the craziest thing I had ever heard. Ryan said that the Detroit Lions are going to win 10 games. And I said, based on what? Based on what are they going to win 10 games? And then we go down the schedule. So for them to start 1-6, I'm like, where's those 10 wins, man? Where's those 10 wins we talked about? And so Ryan had egg on his face. Ryan looks crazy. And then all of a sudden, certain players you're taking out, and Aaron Glenn's fitting players in. This guy's not working. You know what? This guy is letting us down. Let's put this young guy in here. This guy gets hurt. Let me bump this guy over here. He basically patchworked the defense all season long until they really start finding their stride around week 10. Week 11, you got to take your hat off to what Aaron Glenn put together, man. 100%. Brad Holmes drafted players, but it's up to Aaron Glenn and Kelvin Shepard and Aubrey Pleasant, who's no longer here. But it's up to the coaches to plug and play. Hey, this guy's going to look good here. I think this guy could fit this situation. He would be good in nickel and third down. So, he deserves a lot of credit, and that's what happens usually when you get paid more. It's called the credit you deserve.
And look what he's done to some of those players. Let's just take a couple. Isaiah Buggs. I don't know what he did, but this guy's a player. John Kaminsky, former third-round pick of the Falcons. They cut him. Lions sign him. They find the right spot for him. And now he's going to get re-signed. He's going to get paid. And they win when he's on the field. He's putting the players where they're supposed to be. You got to take your hat off to the guy. He's making the moves. That's why I believe this team is going to take the next step, even on defense, next season.
Top 10, that's a little aggressive. I would say
top 7 the second half of the year. You told me.
That is true, and that is a great point brought up by you.
But scheduling too, you got to look at those last.
We don't know how those teams are going to be.
True,
right?
but you got to look at the last 10 games of the year. Like those schedules, the teams that they play, only one or two of them made the playoffs, if that.
Yeah, and depending on what the Lions get in the draft and what they were able to get in free agency, top 10 might be a little aggressive, but maybe not. But I would say definitely a top 20, top 15 scoring defense, because if the Lions' offense is as good as it was last year, or better, or even slightly worse, a top 20, top 15, hell, even top 10 defense, that could put the Lions over the top. If you're telling me that the Lions can have a top 10 defense, I'm showing you a team that probably has 12 or 13 wins.
And a top 5 offense.
I'm definitely with you on that, Flannel Sam. As I'm looking at it now, I would say top 15. I would say top 15 because we're aiming to be a top 5 offense again, top 7.
Yeah.
If we go top 10, top 7, we're supposed to be in the Super Bowl and damn near win it. So I would go top 15 and I go top 8 offense.
They could win the NFC, right?
Yeah,
it's the NFC
for sure. But I'm saying, but once you say top 10, that means you're supposed to win the Super Bowl.
I get it.
If you're top 10 and top 10, that's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
that's the Philly.
But you also need your coach to be good with the clock and to learn how to manage the game as well. You could be top 10 and top 10 and still be crap if your coach is screwing you 3 games out of the year.
Yeah, that is still.
This is true.
I still think that's a question mark when it comes to Dan Campbell, but I don't think he got in his team's way as much at the end of the year, but a lot of it was because in some of those games, the Lions just beat teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants from start to finish. It didn't require any.
Those are 3 playoff teams that they wiped the floor with.
And the teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jaguars were playing well before and after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Carolina.
They didn't lose after the Lions beat them. They didn't lose until they lost to the Chiefs. In the playoffs.
Braylon, you would mention Carolina to bring me down a peg, but maybe we all need to get brought down a peg, and that's okay.
It's humbling, man.
That's okay. That was a very, very bad loss. Sometimes we got to go through that.
We got to go there.
Coming up next, there is some odds that came out of who the number 1 pick in the NFL draft will be, and there's a couple players on the top 10 list that will make you more than scratch your head. Some of those names, I'm talking. If that happens, You know, I'll save it for the next segment. But first, I got to talk to you about Lady Jane's. I get my hair cut at Lady Jane's,
Looking
and
good,
I know
brother.
people. I appreciate that, Braylon. Some people in the chat give me crap, but it's okay. I know I look good, and my wife thinks I look good, and it's because those stylists,
Shout
make
out
me
to
look
Nikki.
good. Yes, Nikki, my lovely wife. So come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit customhealthcenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
And welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Flannel Sam, filling in for Ryan Ermanni. To my right is Braylon Edwards, and in the Maz chair is Tom Mazawey. We got JV Smooth on the 1s and 2s, and we've got Fletch in the technical director booth. So we talked about Aaron Glenn, Michael Brockers, and this defense. I want to pivot to the first overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft, because Fox College Football, they came up with some odds, and at minus 167, Bryce Young as the highest odds, and then second is C.J. Stroud at plus 300. Will Levis, who I and Braylon are not a fan of, at plus 650. Jalen Carter, Georgia defensive tackle, at plus 700. Will Anderson, which I'm very, very shocked at, we'll get to that, is plus 1,100. Anthony Richardson, another guy who I think is a bum, at plus 1,200.
Watch that.
Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech at plus 5,000. And Miles Murphy, edge rusher from Clemson, at plus 6,600. And I want to start with you, Braylon. Is there anything on this list that stands out or stands out to you or shocks you, or do you think they got it right?
There must be an injury or something noticeable on the 2022 film as it relates to Will Anderson Jr. Like, there must be something on film, because I'm just remembering Todd McShay. I remember Mel Kiper Jr.
Todd.
I love Matt. I'm just thinking of I can't get that out of my head. But I'm just thinking of every analyst, every guy who's ever done a mock draft. It's just all the announcers, all the commentators, us, everybody, anybody. Will Anderson this, Will Anderson that. Will Anderson should have been there over Aiden Hutchinson. Will Anderson should have won the Heisman. Will Anderson would have been number 1 in this pick. Will Anderson. You get through this year. Will Anderson, and slowly but surely, the Will Anderson, the talk dies a little bit during the season. Then all of a sudden, it gets very quiet towards the end of the season. Then you don't hear any talk at all. And then when the draft comes out, the mocks, you throw his name back out there. Now all of a sudden in the mocks, Mock 3, Mock 3.0, Mock 3.5, you're starting to see him slip further and further and further. I wonder, Sam and Matt, what is going on with Will Anderson? Is something on film that people are seeing? Is something bothering them as the scouts? Or is it just because everybody wants a quarterback?
This is a tough one, because Will Anderson, on the surface, he is the obvious can't-miss number 1 overall pick type player. But he is an edge rusher, and I know there's a lot of NFL teams that need a quarterback. And last season, although Will Anderson's numbers took a bit of a step back, he still had double-digit sacks. He still looked dominant at lots of times throughout the season. I think what this could speak to, and I'm obviously shocked when I look at that list of Will Anderson's odds being that low, maybe
put some money on that.
Maybe the Chicago Bears are not sold on Justin Fields and are looking to trade him. Because think about it. The Chicago Bears, they have what you think could maybe be a franchise quarterback, at least with his running ability. And he didn't throw the ball super well. But
who the hell was he going to throw the ball to?
I was just about to say
the man's in the selling peanuts in the concession stand. They didn't have any wide receivers.
And I agree with that. You look at what he had around him. He had one of the worst offensive supporting casts in the entire NFL. But the Bears also had the worst defense in the NFL. And if you're looking to bolster,
trade all their players away.
If you're looking to bolster that defense and kind of help a Justin Fields out, at least have a defense that can stop someone, you'd think Will Anderson would be the no doubt first overall pick. So I'm thinking that, according to these odds, that they're thinking the Bears might trade Justin Fields and draft a Bryce Young. I think that's what that tells me about this list, Maz.
Let me tell you something, guys.
Tell me something, Maz.
Let me take you back to the 81 draft.
Take me to the 81 draft, Maz.
I take it that because it's in my heart.
Okay, 81.
Lawrence Taylor,
LT.
Best player
University of North Carolina.
Best player to ever live in the NFL.
Yes.
Best player ever. But he wasn't the number one pick.
No, he was not.
The number one pick was George Rogers. Running back. That's what teams did back then. They were either taking a quarterback or they're taking a running back. Then Lawrence Taylor went number 2 to the Giants. The rest is history. Same thing here. It's not defense does not go number 1 usually. It's the shiny toy. It's a quarterback, or back in the day, it's a running back. It's not a running back anymore. It's a quarterback. That's the only reason Will Anderson is falling that far. He's not even falling. That's just the odds on him being picked as the number 1 spot. It's going to be a quarterback. Regardless of who picks number 1, it's going to be a quarterback. I don't think it takes anything away from him, but I'll tell you, man, if some things happen, the Lions could really get lucky, and Jalen Carter or Will Anderson just might fall to number 6 if everything goes perfect and there's a lot of quarterback-hungry teams out there. You never know. That's the only reason that number is like that.
Yeah, no, and you make a lot of sense because last year there was heavy talk during the draft last year, and you were talking about the quarterbacks, whether it was Malik Willis, whether it was Kenny Pickett, or whether it was, I don't even remember, it was Sam Howell was the third one. They were talking about how bad the quarterback class was this year and that everybody was going to be gunning for their quarterbacks in the 2023 draft. So looking at it based off that, and then with Matt saying that, he's absolutely right. He's sliding down because of that. But I will say this, Maz, don't be surprised, and this may sound crazy, don't be surprised at some weird NFL on the day of the draft world where Will Anderson Jr. is not there at 6. And the reason why I say that, everybody wants a quarterback right now. They're trying to figure that out. Also, interior linemen have become more important than in terms of to the offense, to the outside. In terms of, it's harder to get that guy at interior lineman. I'm talking about getting one of those guys, and they're calling Jalen Carter one of those guys. So don't be surprised if Jalen goes before Will Anderson Jr. by some magic. I mean, I don't think he'll be there at 6, but I think he goes after Jalen Carter.
I mean, look how close the freaking Lions came to getting that number 5 pick, where they would be right in the sweet spot. And just to remind everyone, the Rams and the Seahawks tied. So what happened is they had to flip a coin to see who was picking 5th, who was picking 6th, and good old Lions luck came through again. Seattle not only beats the Lions by a couple points, beats them out of a playoff spot, and now beats them one spot ahead of them in the draft, because sitting at 5 is a million times better than sitting at 6 and praying that someone's going to come to you.
So you know what I learned from that scenario? Control your own destiny.
Oh, God,
Beat Seattle.
God, yeah.
Beat the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
And then we won't be in this conundrum.
The Lions are in a weird spot because having the number 6 overall pick is obviously a high pick. It's a great thing, and they got it by virtue of the Rams being bad, not by the Lions being bad, which is all the more incredible. But when we're talking about can't-miss prospects in this draft, you might not be able to get one of those at number 6 overall. To me, it's Jalen Carter, Will Anderson are the only can't miss, and maybe you can argue a Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud if you need a quarterback.
That's what I'm saying, Sam. Don't take one of those secondary guys. If you put those odds up again, put them up again, Fletch, and look at the 2 defensive guys at the end. Read their odds to me right now.
Big difference.
Plus 5,000 and plus 6,600.
It's a huge drop-off. A huge drop-off. I don't want a secondary guy. That's why I'm saying if I can't get one of the big guys, then get me my quarterback.
But
get me my number 1 wide receiver. I don't mean that one, but get me my quarterback.
I'm all in with you, man. I'm 100%. Like I'm not about settling. If you're gonna look at the situation, you look at the odds, and you see 1,100 and it drops to 6,600. Well, I damn sure don't want the guy at 6,600. So I understand that. But these are also my odds before the combine. So let's wait and see what these guys do at their pro day and their combine day, because I guarantee you're going to see some change in the guards. Or you might even see some players jump up into this top 10 once you get them out there, run the 40, do positional drills, and get on that
starts
chalkboard.
next week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm ready.
I can't wait. Always a fun.
The underwear Olympics. Bring them on.
Oh man, we used to call it the trade, the meat market.
The meat.
The meat market.
That is funny. And Anthony Richardson is one of those guys who I think is a candidate to shoot up when it comes to the combine.
He will.
Speaking of Anthony Richardson and all the rest of the college football quarterbacks, Fox College Football also came out with a ranking of quarterbacks for the 2023 NFL draft class. You've got Bryce Young at 1, C.J. Stroud at 2, Anthony Richardson at 3, Will Levis at 4, Hendon Hooker at 5. I'm not going to read the 6 through 10 because those are guys who are going to be drafted in later rounds, but the highlights are Stetson Bennett, Tanner McKee.
Don't sleep on 7 and 8.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I actually like him.
Damn, there we go.
Is there anything on this list that surprises you? I mean, to me, and I know this is going to sound crazy to some, I would have Hendon Hooker above Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. Not even just because
You're crazy.
You know what, Maz? At least Hendon Hooker was productive in college. I know that he has an injury, and I know that
he's 30.
He's very old.
He's 25.
In his last two seasons at Tennessee combined, 58 touchdowns.
Age shaming is a thing.
I'm
the oldest guy in the house. All right, I can talk.
Don't age shame. They'll cancel you.
In the last
I'm 40.
Get one of those balloons while you're at it.
I'm 40. You see what the balloon
Sorry,
says.
Sam. Go
No,
ahead.
it's okay. And I'm not saying that I'm just this big. I wouldn't draft Hendon Hooker in the first round, but at least Hendon Hooker had 58 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in his last 2 seasons at Tennessee, including the game of his life playing Alabama.
Bama.
They did beat Bama. He played the game of his life. He led the offense to 52 points.
He beat Bama. Enough said. You
That's
don't have to
Fletcher's
say
guy.
I'm crazy. And he should be. Okay. And he should be. You're talking about Anthony Richardson, and we're making excuses for he and Will Levis, and, well, they didn't do that because of this, and they didn't have this wide receiver, and the offensive line wasn't that good, and the coach really wasn't. Why do we keep making excuses for these guys? I don't have to make excuses for what I saw old man Hooker do. Old man Hooker went out there, and he beat the hell out of Alabama, and he looked efficient all season. He looked good. He looked like a leader, and we've been watching him since Virginia Tech, and he really exploded this year. I side with Flannel Sam over there. I would put him above Anthony Richardson and Will Levis too.
Oh, yeah,
I'm so tired of Will Levis, man. His name is Will Levis until further notice. Until further notice.
Don't crap on Richardson. I'm telling you, man.
I'm not crapping on him.
He looks like he's the it guy to me.
You know how many guys have looked like the it guy?
I don't know. I just
we can go down the list. We can go.
All
down
right,
the list.
shut up with Malik Willis. Enough,
guys.
Enough, Malik Willis.
The it guy.
It ain't Liberty. It's Florida.
This is true.
Maz, you have that sort of unquantifiable it guy thing when it comes to Anthony Richardson. I have the evidence that he completed 53.8% percentage of his passes in college in his last season. And Will Levis, we talk about Hendon Hooker, how he led his offense to 52 points and beat Alabama, while Will Levis was too busy losing to Vanderbilt, putting up 6 points.
He lost to Vanderbilt?
Yes,
Have you watched that Vandy team? No, I'm only kidding.
Oh, stop.
I'm only kidding.
Oh my God, they're like not even they're not even the Northwest of the SEC. They're the smartest school in the SEC, but their football is horrible.
They're in a great town, though.
It is. Nashville is a hell of a town. Nashville is a hell of a town.
Think about this with Will Levis, and this is what bothers me. Against Tennessee, at Tennessee, in sort of a marquee matchup, Will Levis going up against Hendon Hooker. Will Levis throws for 98 yards and 3 interceptions and leads his team to a whopping 6 points against the same defense that Spencer Rattler led the South Carolina offense to 63 on. To me, that's a non-negotiable. Obviously, I think.
But he has a big arm.
Is Rattler staying in school?
He has a big upside.
I think Rattler's
Is Rattler staying in school?
Rattler will be the next Martinez. Okay, like he's gonna be in school for some time.
So he's staying.
Hell yeah, with NIL, ain't nobody else paying him $2 million.
Remember, he made his own logo up 2 years ago. He was ready to go.
He was the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman 2 seasons ago.
Oh, I remember. I remember.
And then he transferred, but now you're talking about guys making $2 million a year in NIL down in South Carolina. I ain't going to the NFL.
All right. Well, I love this draft talk, but we have to take a break. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit of Tigers with Woodward, with Rogelio Castillo of Woodward Tigers. But first, Maz, tell us about chili peppers.
I certainly will. Hopefully you guys got your free tan last week because it's a great way to learn about chili peppers tanning. 27 locations in Metro Detroit, 2 right here on Woodward Avenue, so you got no excuse. You got to find your way there to get your vitamin D. You're not going to get it with this weather here in Michigan. And if you join the Pepper Club, they will beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D and the best tanning representatives there. They will teach you how to tan and look good. It is the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans, all at chilipepperstanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Centron World is aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavor energy beverage and premium bottled waters. It's fashionable, it's functional, and it's fun, just like your boy. Trust it, drink it, live it with Centron.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Flannel Sam filling in for Ryan Ermanni. To my right is Braylon Edwards, and in the Maz chair is Tom Mazawey. We got JB Smooth in the audio booth and Fletch on the ones and twos. We don't have Rogelio yet, so in the meantime,
he said his screen is black right now.
Okay, well that's all right. You know what? We'll push that back.
Excuse Rogelio.
I hope that the Tigers play better this year than Rogelio is right now, but that's okay. I'm just giving my man a little bit of
grief.
A little grief. So I thought I would talk about something that has been a hot button issue in Detroit today. So one of the greatest linebackers of this generation, and maybe of all time when it's all said and done, Bobby Wagner,
there we go,
was just released by the Los Angeles Rams. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, 6-time first-team All-Pro, and not only that, because some people might say, oh, he's old, he's past his prime. Not so fast. In his last season with the Los Angeles Rams, he put up his career high in sacks. He was Pro Football Focus highest rated linebacker, had 140 tackles, 2 interceptions, which is tied for second most he's had in his career, and 10 tackles for a loss, which is also tied for the second most he's had in his entire career. So Braylon Edwards,
come to me with it.
If you're the Detroit Lions and you have the opportunity to go after a Bobby Wagner, do you pull the trigger?
Sign him, pull the trigger. I wanted him last year. So listen.
Yes, you did.
I was with the 2012 Seahawks when they drafted Bobby Wagner. Didn't think much of him. Was trying to figure out, who's this guy they drafted in the 3rd round, a linebacker, blah, 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 out of Utah State. The guy was a monster, and you see what he's done over the past 10 years since I played with him with the Seahawks. He just gets it done. He's a tackling machine. He's very intelligent, very intuitive. He's side to side, has a high motor. He's a guy that knows how to get guys motivated, but he's also not the big stuff talking. But he's a guy that's 100 on Madden. Twice he's done that. I know it's weird that Madden ratings mean more than regular ratings, but you get 2 whole gold packages. Bobby Wagner is a guy that plays football, and now you no longer have to pay him the $17 million or the $15.5 million. He was let go let go by the Seahawks. Now he's let go by the Rams. You can get Bobby Wagner, to the tune of, 2 years, 16, 18 million. I'm taking it.
His last contract was 5 years for $50 million, which is $10 million a year. And Maz,
it's going to be less than that.
It could be.
He's gonna be. Once you start getting cut, playing Mike linebacker or certain positions, the older you get, you're getting cut. You're not getting cut so that you can go make more than that money that you made on that contract. That joker's not gonna make that money. I'm telling you. You can get him for probably $8 million a year. You get him $8 million a year. I gotta take that, Sam. 3 years, $8 million, and by the time he's done with that, you're ready to pay a young linebacker that's shown out approving, or you're ready to draft a guy in the 1st round. Gotta get him for a 3-year deal.
This ain't Michael Brockers. This guy he's a machine. He's a tackling machine. Not only that, he's a good dude. This guy is exactly what you want here in Detroit. Some playoff team is going to sign him. Why the hell not us? This is where you spend your money. You go get him right now, and in the secondary, you go get whatever Philadelphia Eagle you want. Those are your two guys, your linebacker and your corner/safety. Go get them.
One thing about Wagner, too, is I send it back to you, Flannel, is this. You want guys that are there every day. You want guys that buy in every day. You want guys that are there in the offseason. You want guys that are leading the charge. You want guys that are there every game. You want guys that don't make excuses. Bobby Wagner has been that guy since day one. Because you got to think about it. They drafted him. He had to prove himself. Bobby didn't get drafted to be the starting linebacker. Bobby was drafted, and he was drafted to be a guy. Proved himself into the starting lineup. So he carries that same attitude. Come to practice. Come to work. Somebody could take my job. I may not be the best. He's like that every day, starting in April with OTAs all the way through the season. That's the kind of guy the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, when you tell me about grit, when you tell me about the city's identity, that's the kind of guy that I see as a plant worker, and that's the identity that Detroit has built. Hey, grab your hard hat and your lunch pail, punch in the clock. That's Bobby Wagner.
I love that you mentioned it because it perfectly segues into another incredible stat about Bobby Wagner. You talk about availability as the most important ability.
Right. You don't miss.
Nobody has been more available than Bobby Wagner. In his past 7 seasons, he's missed a grand total of 1 game.
Amazing.
Sign this man.
And in some of those seasons, he wasn't a spring chicken anymore. He's a little getting up there in age. He's not in his prime, but he is still damn good, and he is still durable. Think about this, Maz. I know.
What's his average? 140 tackles a year?
Yes, 140.
It's something like that. He had 140 last year, and he's led the entire NFL in tackles
He'll
twice.
be 33, I think, coming up in July.
He has a couple good years left. And think about this, Maz. I know you mentioned something earlier that I was a little bit dismissive of on the surface. But if the Lions can get Bobby Wagner to come to this team, to come to this defense, the top 10 defense suddenly becomes something that is more possible.
Correct.
Bobby Wagner is a guy that you put in right now with nothing else, with no other signings, no other draft picks. They're instantly probably a top 15 to 17 defense.
And that's exactly what I was saying when Matt said it. I said, I can see it from the standpoint, the money you have in free agency, the draft picks that you have, and how well they played those last 10 games, especially the last 8. When you start moving some pieces around, you start adding some pieces, I could damn well see the Lions slide until even before the season starts. You're projecting them top 15. You're projecting them 12. And then don't let these guys start to go on a groove and start to find that chemistry and buying into each other. I don't want them to wait until week 9 this year. Don't wait till week 10. There's dreams. There's on your back. Go get it. I think they can.
You got 5 good, young, second-year players on your team already. Why are you going to go fish for these secondary defensive guys that are out there from Clemson and wherever the hell else they are that you want to draft so badly? Why you want them when you can get a Bobby Wagner
and Jalen Ramsey too?
I'm on Bradbury or C.J. Gardner-Johnson over Ramsey because I think you could save a couple of dollars that way and definitely not give up a draft pick. I have nothing against Ramsey except giving up a draft pick. These other guys, you just got to pay.
I'd rather give up a draft pick than a touchdown, and that's what you're going to be giving up. You put Bradbury in there.
Nah, he's a huge upgrade, man.
Then Ramsey?
Huge upgrade from what they have now without giving up a pick. Yeah, I'm telling you, the shopping list for the Lions is simple. Get a linebacker, Bobby Wagner, and get someone in the secondary.
Ramsey.
Whatever. Take your guy.
Yes.
And we're obviously not saying that Bobby Wagner is definitely going to come here. It depends on what he wants. It depends on, the Lions, are they up? They're obviously up and coming. Are they a team that's one move away? If you're trying to win a Super Bowl, do you go with the Detroit Lions? That is up for debate, but it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility.
What if you've been there? And what if you're Bobby Wagner and you've been there, Flannel, you've won a Super Bowl, you've almost won 2 Super Bowls. You've been elite your whole career. You tried a quick cash grab with the Rams, and people got hurt. People got traded. That didn't work. You get cut. And now you're sitting back and you're looking at a situation where you're like, they need a Mike linebacker. They need a veteran leader. They need a leader that's proven, that's won. I've done those things. What if I put that defense on my back and I'm the catalyst that leads the Detroit Lions into this new wave that they're craving, the playoffs, second round, NFC Championship, Super Bowl? Like, that's something to put on somebody's mantra. Like, oh yeah, I was that leader that revamped the Detroit Lions. That's something to think about, because if you talk about legacy, those are the things that people look for when they're trying to build a legacy is, okay, I want to go here and I want to do that. I think Bobby could be thinking about that a little bit.
I mean, Bobby Wagner could still, too, be hungry to win more, because they won a Super Bowl, the Seahawks, in his second season. And
very true.
Ever since then, they had one of the worst, the most devastating losses in Super Bowl history in the next year. And after that, the Seahawks...
The worst.
You know what? I would say that that's 100% true. And after that, the Seahawks didn't really... I mean, they made the playoffs, but they didn't really do anything in the playoffs. Never got back to a Super Bowl. And then he comes to the Los Angeles Rams the year after they win a Super Bowl. But then this past year, they bottom out. Matthew Stafford gets hurt. Cooper Kupp gets hurt. And
everybody got hurt.
He's looking at that Los Angeles Rams situation. It was a mutual parting of ways, as they're going to bottom out. This is not going to be a good team. And even if they are okay this next year, they are going to be in salary cap hell. The Detroit Lions, on the other hand, are not that. They are up and coming. And when you look at the linebacker position last year for the Detroit Lions, I think they played a little bit better than we thought. But one of the reasons was because Malcolm Rodriguez was such a standout. And Malcolm Rodriguez, how good would it be for him to be taught and sort of play alongside a Bobby Wagner?
Wow.
I know we all say that. I mean,
you can keep Anzalone, too.
You could keep Alex Anzalone. I mean, the thing about Alex Anzalone is that I know, Braylon, you're not a fan, and I definitely wasn't a fan before the season, but he did have his best season.
He played great in the second half of the year.
Listen, Aaron Glenn and Kelvin Shepard put him in a situation to have his best season. Yes, he played a lot better than he did in the first half, and he played a lot better than he did the year before. I commend him for stepping his game up and playing better. Doesn't mean I want him. It doesn't mean that I think he can help the team out. I think they played a lot better. I think he actually put some respect on his name, man. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I just don't think for where they're going, he's the guy that I would use to get me there.
That's fine. I'll take Wagner.
Yeah.
And something you mentioned earlier, if somehow, some way, and I'm not saying this is outside the realm of possibility, if the Lions can get
Jalen,
you know what? You might be able to get Jalen Ramsey if, for some reason, and I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. That
the name Jalen belongs in Detroit. I'm just saying Jalen Rose, Jalen Ramsey, JR. See, I'm telling you, man.
That is actually
Braylon, Jalen. I'm just saying.
And if you're telling me that Bobby Wagner will go for $8 million a year, you are doing backflips if you can sign Bobby Wagner for $8 million a year, because they'd still have more cap space to get a guy like a potential Jalen Ramsey who they'd have to trade for, or a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury. This defense could look an awful lot different this next year, and it could be good from day one, not start out so terribly and then have to sort of claw themselves out of that hole.
It's the conversations that you have. I mean, you think of it like this. The conversation that we're having about Bobby Wagner right now is Matt's talking about he's 33. You're talking about he's long in the tooth. That's going to be the same way that teams are looking at him. You know, you look at the linebackers now. Look at Luke Kuechly. He got up out of there after 9 years. You look at Patrick Willis. He got up out of there after 10 years. These linebackers aren't staying to play for a very long time.
That's because they were injured. He's not.
True, but I'm just saying, like, even that shelf life, you see what I'm saying? Like, guys aren't pulling the Ray Lewis 16 years. Guys are getting out earlier and earlier. But you got a guy that's not injured. He's proven that he can make it. He's missed one game. He's been all-pro 6 years out of the 7 damn near. He's on fire. And also, when he was in Seattle, you know what they had in Seattle? They have something called the 12th man. Arguably the best fans in the NFL in terms of the noise, the decibel level. Then you go to the Los Angeles Rams, whose fans suck. There are no fans. He's looking for some fans. I guarantee you the next place that he wants to go is a place that makes you feel like the team you play for. You're excited to play for them. You're excited for the city. That sounds a lot like the Detroit Lions right now, that fan base.
A playoff team will sign him.
True.
Why not us?
I mean,
I like how Maz did that.
And you know what? Even though the Lions didn't make the playoffs last year, they are projected
9-8. That's playoffs for us.
I mean, 9. That's a winning season. That's
winning
3 times more than they had the season before. So that was
first
obviously
time in the history the Detroit Lions have ever gone 9-8.
That's a fact.
That is
exactly. See,
damn, brother.
First time.
I love the way you word things, because technically you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Coming up next, you know what? Do you guys want to go around the NFL?
Well, I think Rogelio's on.
Rogelio is on. Let's go. All right,
on first.
That is excellent.
So we're quick Tigers. We're going to go out to Lakeland, visit with Rogelio, and then right back to football.
Well, obviously, if we can get Rogelio Castillo, we got to talk to him next. But first, I have to tell you about Guardian Alarm. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. Call them at 1-800-STAY-OUT 24/7 professional monitoring calls anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have proven to care. Call them at 1-800-STAY-OUT. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Get that? Catch it while you can. Some favorites during Lent, like the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. Go to your local Big Boy today. And guess what today is? It's all you can eat fish fry on a Friday at the buffet on Friday nights at Big Boy.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Flannel Sam. To my right is Braylon Edwards. We have Tom Mazawey in the Maz chair, JV Smooth in the sound booth, and the great Fletch on the ones and twos. And right now, let's talk to Rogelio Castillo of Woodward Pistons, who is
Woodward
live.
Tigers.
Woodward Tigers. I am so sorry. That was my bad.
Whoa there.
I'm sorry.
So sorry about that, Rogelio.
But you know what? You're doing a great job.
Not like this.
You're doing a great job, and nobody deserves this trip to Lakeland more than you, and you are there in the trenches every day. So, Rogelio, let me ask you a question first. I know that things don't look very bleak. They look a little bleak in the near future. There's not a whole lot to cheer about this year, but is there somebody this season who you think can surprise people and break out?
Well, as far as people who are in camp right now, I would say one of the guys that, unfortunately, he won't be making the opening day roster, but he hit a hanging curveball off Matt Manning today. That's Colt Keith. So we could see him maybe potentially later this year. But honestly, Javi Baez looked pretty good in camp so far. He has made some really good throws. Looks like his mechanics have been well. He's been hitting the ball hard. And another person we expect to break out is Alex Lang, who looked unhittable in BP. Again, I know it's BP, so how much you take with that, but his stuff does look really good so far in camp.
First of all, really, you think I would really come on here and not talk about congratulations to you becoming a member of the Writers Association of America, man. I'm proud of you, brother. Buddy. Congratulations on Rogelio.
You're a big shot now.
5 years coming. He now can vote on players to get into the Hall. So proud of you, big guy. Let's talk about this also with Javi Baez. I expected that because Sky Harris, he's one of the first guys. Sky Harris kind of went after last year when he took or this past season when he took the job. A lot of changeover as it relates to coaches with the Detroit Tigers. Talk about how those coaches have looked so far during camp.
You know, there's a lot of new faces that I'm still trying to catch up to all of them, and you can kind of see it in terms of like Robin Lund, who is working with the pitchers and working with those guys and making sure that when they're throwing, they're not opening up too much. They're already seeing a little bit of instruction with Turkleton a little bit, and it's one of those things, especially with Robin Lund, who comes in, who has a pedigree behind him, who developed pitchers at the University of Iowa, and I think he's going to make a big help in making sure that these pitchers are healthy too, because that's something that they've talked about this week. Is the starting rotation is going to be kind of limited because Turnbull hasn't thrown in almost 2 years. Boyd only threw a handful of innings last year. So guys like Lung and even the strength staff and conditioning staff are going to have to keep these arms healthy because players have to stretch these guys out pretty well.
Hey, Raj, I got something for you. I sent it to you in the messages earlier today. I was on Talking Baseball on Twitter, and they came out with how many players each team has in the top 100 of Major League Baseball. At the top of the list, you got Houston and the Mets. They have 8 players. Then you got Toronto, Atlanta, and Philly with 7. The Yankees, San Diego with 6. And we go down to 0. On the zero list, we have the Rockies, the Reds, the Nationals, the A's, and the Tigers. What do I have to look forward to this year?
Well, first and foremost, talking baseball, I mean, I know they're a New York establishment, but I don't know what baseball they're watching with Detroit. But as far as, yes, it's going to be a long season. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. But I think you're gonna see hopefully a full season of Riley Green, see how he progresses as a player. Yeah. I think even with like some of the current players right now, I think Matt Burling's also looked good at camp. He was the guy that got the Gravity Soto deal. In terms of just like kind of a different viewpoint of seeing a lot of the variety of players, really. I mean, I'm not, again, in camp right now, there's a lot of questions who's going to play third, even in outfield right now. The reason why we talk about position flexibility, AJ Hinch, is because they don't have a lot of players right now that can play at one position.
Right.
So, I mean,
they're going to mix them.
You know, in terms of even, yeah, they're going to mix them because even like say Spencer Torkelson gets off to a bad start again, they're going to have to be creative again at first base. So that's where I think you're going to see a lot of that is just like a bunch of like unlike the previous years when players struggled like Victor Reyes or Willie Castro, they stuck around. Scott Harris is not afraid to go, you know what, get out of here and change things up a little bit.
Really? Here we go. Chicks dig the long ball. Detroit Comerica Park moving the park in. How are the two new hitting coaches, Berger and Beauregard, how are they going to help the Tigers get the ball out of the park? Because when I come to the games, I want to see some home runs. Rogelio, how are those two batting coaches going to be for the Tigers?
I think it's going to help with launch angle, Braylon. I think you're going to see one of the things about the Tigers last year was that they were very, in terms of ground balls. I mean, they had the least amount of home runs in 50-odd years. It was so strange.
Oh, yeah, we watched it.
Oh, yeah, that was being down there the whole time and trying to go and make a story out of it. It's like, But, in all reality, launch angle is going to be a big part of it, making sure that the ball is going to get elevated. And guys like, I mean, an interesting sign to me, Cesar Hernandez, who had a home run drop-off last year, and bringing him in. So if we could see those two work on getting Cesar Hernandez, who's had hit 21 home runs several times with the Guardians and the National, with the Guardians, that'll bode better. But for now, that's the only thing I can really think of. It's just, you see all these machines get hooked up to them and seeing how they're going to change their bat path. So I think if we recognize something in the bat path and fix it quickly, I think that's going to be helpful. But for now, I mean, they're going to need, it's also about Braylon, getting the right talent. And hopefully, with this trades they have with Philadelphia, that they bring in the talent.
Okay.
Rogelio, you know what I like about you, man? There's a lot of pessimism when it comes to the Detroit Tigers, even in this building. But you, Rogelio, you're the one that kind of keeps us all grounded and says that it's going to be okay. And you're the one that has the most authority of it because you're the man who's in Lakeland. Actually,
you got to watch 162 games.
And you know what?
I got to stay optimistic.
And I know you. That's actually a good point.
Stay optimistic.
But Rogelio, talking to you does make me feel better about the Detroit Tigers. So let me ask you this. Speaking of, here's one of the reasons why I'm optimistic about the Detroit Tigers, at least in their future. It's because I believe in Scott Harris. I think that they kind of went in another direction of Al Avila, who is obviously a disaster. You get someone in Scott Harris who is proven. He was the.
It wasn't all Al's fault, by the way.
And that's fine. But Al Avila had to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But in 2021, Scott Harris was the GM of that San Francisco Giants team that actually won more games that season than the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think they won 108 and the Dodgers won 107. They didn't do anything in the playoffs, but the Giants had no real business being there. Are you on the sort of trust the Scott Harris plan at this point?
I am, because I look at some of the things that changed across the board even before Scott Harris was there. Because the Tigers had to either adapt to modern, I'm not just talking analytics, is sometimes such a blanketed term, but the Tigers had to kind of get together or get with the rest of baseball in terms of being modernized. It isn't about analytics, it's necessarily just making like player evaluation and development. And the Tigers are starting to do that a little bit even before Harris got here. But the reason why I think Scott Harris is the right man for the job is because he has a committee of people. It's not just he has different people from different organizations. He brought in Rob Metzer from Tampa. He brought in the gentleman from San Diego, who I'm drawing a blank on right now, who had Mark Connor, who's done some great drafts. So I think having a variety of voices to give you help you out, I think that bodes well, because sometimes with these old GMs, it's like the GM is friends, and I don't get that kind of vibe.
Hey, Raj, last couple from me. It's your first time you're down for spring training. Did I tell you? Is it everything that I said it was going to be? And tomorrow, opening day against the National League champion Phillies at Joker Marchant. I hope you have the time of your life, but paint a picture of that vitamin D that you're sucking in right now down in Lakeland.
What? Man.
Well, as me being I had to put on suntan. I had to put on suntan lotion, which is something I'm not used to doing at all, because I actually see the sun. But
that vitamin D you get.
But as far as I don't
pause.
All right. Pause. Yeah. Pause.
There we go.
So I was like, for me, I got a little emotional the first day I was there, because I couldn't believe I just got back there, and the Tigers PR tournament's been nothing but great to me, and everybody there, and just been. I admit, I'm a grown man. I'm same age as Braylon now. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
I appreciate it, man. I'm in my 40s now, baby.
Yeah, and I got teary-eyed. It was a really cool experience, and just to see going out there, getting video, getting pictures, and seeing all this firsthand, and then hearing the locker room talk kind of helping you sharpen your use of the team. It's been great, and I'm looking forward to going Monday to see the Tigers in Tampa, and go to hit up there. And Tampa, by the way, I flew into Tampa, and man, it is overwhelming. We walk out of there and you see nothing but strip clubs right from the stadium and everything. It's a very interesting district, to say the least.
No question. Senior citizens and strip clubs. That's what you're going to get down in Lakeland.
Is that Mons Venus?
No question, man. Have a great time.
Mons Venus, that's what I saw. Yeah.
I said that out loud.
Yes. Rogelio.
Hey, try to make it to Bradenton if you can, and watch the Pirates.
Like
the oldest park in the Grapefruit League, and it's a great park if you can get down to Kegney Field in Bradenton.
I know some spots, but they don't play baseball where I'm sending you, Rogelio. They don't play baseball.
I'm keeping it baseball here.
keep your dollars up. That's all I'm saying.
You know what, Rogelio? You are the man. Thank you so much for joining us today. Rogelio Castillo of Woodward Tigers.
Enjoy it.
So happy for you that you're getting this opportunity to go down to Lakeland to the Detroit Tigers spring training, and I love hearing you talk about it. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Hey, bring me home a $60 T-shirt, all right?
Yeah, I can do. What do you want? One of those Troop Limited ones? Those ones
yeah,
like that, or
you know it, man. You know it. Have fun, man.
Bring Matt a sandwich. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
I know I jumped the gun a little bit on the transition into the last break, but you guys want to go around the NFL now that we've talked to Rogelio Castillo.
Of course.
Gotten our Tigers optimism.
We got fill in the blank Friday, too.
Yes. We're going to get to all of that in the second hour. But first, I have to tell you about Custom Health Centers. Get your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Custom Health Centers is blessed to have had over 20,000 success stories. It has been our honor to help many professional athletes lose weight and improve their health. People like Detroit Lion Eddie Murray and Detroit Piston Rick Mahorn. Start losing weight today. Call Dr. Jason in Custom Health at 844-789-8446. That's 844-789-THIN.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Cruising along here on this Friday afternoon. We are back live on the Woodward Sports Network. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Ryan Ermanni. This is Braylon Edwards. And we got Tom Mazawey in the Maz seat, JV Smooth in the sound booth, and Fletch on the ones and twos. And while we're here, Maz, do you want to go around the NFL?
You know it, man. I want to live in the NFL. Here we go. Last year, people were wondering, wow, there's going to be some big trades in the NFL. But Russell Wilson's name really wasn't bandied about. But guess what? He kind of made his own bet. Because you know, Russell Wilson, behind the backs of Pete Carroll and John Schneider, went to ownership of the Seahawks and said, I want these two guys fired. And, well, they didn't get fired. He got traded. And I got a part two to this story. But, Bray, are you surprised at that?
No, I'm not. I am absolutely not surprised that Russell Wilson, I believe in. You know, when that whole momentum and that whole saying got going, Flannel Sam, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. Let Russ cook. When that thing got going, that basically was Russell Wilson, his wife, and the fans that love Russell versus Seattle Seahawks ownership and management. That basically was like, they don't allow me to be me, they hinder me, they handicap me, they don't trust in me, and they're doing their own thing, and they're bringing in young guys. They're always interchanging, they're always handicapping me. That was a real thing. Russell thought that if you got some younger guys in here, just think if you're Russell, you got a Super Bowl win, you've been to 2 Super Bowls, should have been 2. That's on Pete Carroll, okay? Should have handed the ball out for y'all and all that. He should be 2-time Super Bowl winner. He's looking at the landscape and looking at all these other coaches everywhere else. Everybody's young, with the exception of Andy Reid and Belichick. He's looking at Sean McVay and Matt Stafford being homeboys, and he's looking at Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts figuring it out. He's looking at Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody has a young coach, and they're buddies. He's looking at the system like, man, look, get Pete Carroll's old ass out of here, who's the oldest coach in the NFL. Brian Schneider hasn't had a hit. Before last year, Brian Schneider had struggled in drafting players over the past 5, 6, 7 years. Until this past season with Tariq Woolen and a couple of offensive linemen. So, and then K9. So, yeah. So, you know, like Russ is like, get the old guy and his boy, get him out of VIP, let this fully be my team. The 2 people that know the truth, get them out of here. So this is really not my team. I'm not surprised at all that he went behind his back. I'm just glad that ownership, especially, rest in peace, since Paul Allen died, is still strong enough to know, yeah, you're not the reason we won them Super Bowl, so we're going to go ahead and send you out of here on this midnight train, and we're going to stick with the guys that actually brought you in, won the Super Bowl, and then can survive without you. I'm not surprised at all.
I'll tell you what. Both things can be true. Russell Wilson is a Hall of Fame quarterback for what he's done in Seattle. He's the best quarterback in franchise history. But who's won the divorce so far?
Did you forget Jim Zorn?
Come on, Russell Wilson's better than
John Kitna.
John Kitna, absolutely.
Dave Creed.
Matt Hasselbeck. We want the ball and we're going to score.
Matt Hasselbeck. That's right. Warren Moon.
He did play for the Seahawks.
He's still, he is the best in their history.
Yes, but like I said,
he is.
Both things can be true. Russell Wilson is all of that. Yes, someone who's rubbed off on me, obviously. But the Seahawks have won the divorce.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson goes to Denver and it's an absolute disaster the first season. He has the worst year of his career. The Broncos, who were projected to challenge the Chiefs for the division, they fall flat on their face. And it's because of the offense. It's not because of the defense. And the Seahawks, we all know what they did. A team that didn't have great expectations, has with Geno Smith as their quarterback.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back.
Goes to the playoffs. And you also kind of forget they drafted K9, Tariq Woolen, still had 2 great wide receivers in Lockett and Metcalf. So the Seahawks so far have won the divorce. As of right now, it doesn't look too good for Russell Wilson, just in this, especially now that we found out that he wanted them fired.
2 things. One, Geno Smith, just in the 1 year that he played for the Seattle Seahawks, you know he has the most accurate season of all time for Seahawks quarterback. I think I want to say the first most yards or second most yards. I think. But anyway, Quick pivot. You talk about one and divorce. You're talking about Russell Wilson. Obviously, you're talking about Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. Who would you say won the divorce with the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions as it relates to where the Lions are now and obviously what happened with the Rams last season? Who won the divorce? Did they both win?
They both won.
You would say they both won?
Rams won their Super Bowl, and the Lions are now reaping the benefits the second time around. They are going to win a Super Bowl next.
I still got to go with the Rams. People don't understand how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. The Rams went all in and they won. If the Lions do end up winning a Super Bowl, obviously they will have won the divorce. But if you never get one, kind of like F the future. A Super Bowl has so much currency. So as of now, I still got to say Rams.
You know what's crazy is like before Flannel answered that question, like I was prepared to say they both won. But based on how Flannel broke it down, I'm like, yeah, I guess you have to say the Rams did win. I mean, they
won right now.
They won right. Well, yeah, they won right now. But the Lions are winning too.
They are.
But once you said it like that, I'm like, there are only, I think, how many Super Bowls have there been? 54?
57.
57. There have only been, what, like 32 winners?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's something like so. Yeah, you're right, man. Rams have won so far, but keyword so far.
Part 2 of the Russell Wilson saga. Did you know last year, his first year in Denver, he was living large? Sam, why don't you read what he kind of had going in Denver?
All right, last season, per The Athletic, Russell Wilson hired a new publicist to sort of beef up his image. And before that, shoot, I'm having a hard time reading that right now.
Before that, he had also...
I'm used to Ryan. Ryan's got good eyes.
He said worked out his own second floor office, brought his own QB coach, and brought in his own nutritionist and physical therapist.
And what did he say? The first things when he got... What did they ask Sean Payton the first time he had his press conference?
He said,
hey, you're going to let Russ have his own coach?
I don't know about any of these things, and no.
No.
And no. But you did see after that, like a day after, he kind of backtracked off of his stance a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how Sean Payton, and obviously this is cliche, everybody's saying the same thing, but it will be interesting to see how Sean Payton and Russell work. Because I got to think with Russell knows that it didn't work his way, and he can. And this is the crazy part. Well, let me take a step back. If Russell is an honest man, Russell knows that he's part of the problem last year. It wasn't on Nathaniel Hackett. Now, Nathaniel Hackett was terrible, but a lot of that was Russell as well. So if he's an honest man, he can look and say, all right, I didn't have my best season. I need some more magic. Let me really buy into what Sean Payton, and Hall of Fame coach, Super Bowl winning coach, Drew Brees' guy. Let me see what he has to say. If he's smart. But if he doesn't, if he really thinks that it was all Nathaniel Hackett's fault, if he really thinks that he's that guy and he can't do any wrong, the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton are in for maybe more than they bit off to chew.
He better buy into Sean Payton. Sean Payton's one of the best offensive coaches of this generation.
But I'm Russell Wilson. I'm making $250 billion.
He also had Drew Brees.
Million.
Yeah, but it was Drew Brees wasn't really a star quarterback until he linked up with Sean Payton. It was a complementary relationship.
Okay.
And Russell Wilson, he's never really played with that offensive genius.
Yeah.
I mean, Pete Carroll was a defensive coach. I know Darrell Bevel was the offensive coordinator.
And then you started about that.
Right.
I got stories. I got nightmares about Darrell Bevel.
And then of course Nathaniel Hackett.
Brian Schottenheimer, another guy.
I
hated him too.
Oh, yeah. And Nathaniel Hackett, he obviously proved last year he was a one and done. He was a disaster. It was whether it was more Russell Wilson's fault or more Nathaniel Hackett.
He was brought there to bring Aaron Rodgers there. And it didn't work.
But at the same time, Russell Wilson is also a Hall of Fame quarterback who had a Hall of Fame career before he came there. So it's so crazy how they both fell flat on their face. So my point is, if you're Russell Wilson, just submit to Sean Payton. Sean Payton's the guy that can maybe get you back to where you were, maybe even to where you were as a Seattle Seahawk. They've got weapons. They've got Cortland Sutton. They've got Jerry Jeudy. This is submit to Sean Payton. He knows what he's doing. You don't know what you're doing, obviously. Last year, by the evidence, Russell Wilson doesn't know what he's doing right now.
I just don't understand. So when I was playing in the league, man, it's like in the off season.
You played?
Quarterbacks, you knock it off over there. But when I played like quarterbacks, like they would try to get guys together, like all off season, wherever guys were. I mean, Mark Sanchez did a camp out in Mission Viejo. His high school out in California is right off the Orange County, and off the coast. It's beautiful. Everywhere I went, where Russell Wilson got players together his rookie year when I was with it. Like everywhere I went, guys, Alex Smith did something similar. Guys were trying to work out with guys in the offseason, trying to get those times together, trying to get that repetition, trying to get that chemistry, trying to just get that feeling without even having to know it. You just said Hutton, I know what the guys are going to do. I don't see why it's so hard for these quarterbacks now to want to do that. Aaron Rodgers, like he completely disengages from Green Bay. I know the place I don't want to be there in the offseason.
Well, he invited everyone to his little 300 square foot darkness retreat, but no one wanted to go with him.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah. No, thank you. We don't tend to do well in the woods at night. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand, like, why it's so hard to get these guys to buy into their teammates, buy into the young guys, do the chemistry part of the side. You see the teams that have success. You see Patrick Mahomes. You see Jalen Hurts. Those guys were with their guys all off season. Those guys are trying to put in that extra work. Those guys are trying to win. Like you see the formula. Josh Allen is doing the same thing with Stephon Diggs. Those guys that do that in off season, they have success and they win. It's not a hard formula.
No, it is certainly not. And as spoken from a former NFL player, you obviously know. Coming up next, I want to give this segment its proper due because it's one of our favorites. Let's do Fill in the Blank Friday. I'm looking forward to that. We got a lot of good questions. But first, I got to tell you about Fairway Packing. Looking for a way to elevate dinner? Choose Fairway Packing Company, family owned and operated since 1956. Try their Burrata Blend burgers, award-winning chop house steaks, or impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak. See why the top chefs in the country choose Fairway. Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods or order online to ship anywhere. Visit fairwaypacking.com for more details. Fairway Packing Company, sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Be sure to check out Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Simply put, Swiss Insurance is here to take care of volunteers, they're here to take care of the community, and they're here to take care of the kids. You gotta let Swiss Insurance protect you, protect your family, and protect the community. Go see my man Mark at Swiss Insurance Group.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards, live from Woodward Sports on the Woodward Sports Network on Friday, February 24, 2023. I, of course, am Flannel Sam, filling in for Ryan Ermanni. To my right is Braylon Edwards. We got Tom Mazawey in the Maz chair. We have JV Smooth in the sound booth and Fletch on the ones and twos. And right now, time for one of my favorite segments and one that I get to do on the desk for the first time on Ermanni and Edwards. Fill in the blank.
Let's make it
Friday.
good, man.
All right, let's roll, fellas. We kind of tagged on this one already, but I'll redo it. The Lions should blank Bobby Wagner. Go ahead, Braylon. Stop laughing, man. Everything I say, you guys are turning into another innuendo.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm having a good day, man. This is my 40th week, man. I'm just really enjoying it.
Okay.
All right. Detroit Lions should pay Bobby Wagner. And what I mean by pay, that doesn't mean break the bank. I think they should find a suitable pitch, and they should get him for a suitable price, but they definitely should pay and go after Bobby Wagner. We talked about all the reasons. I don't need to go down that list again. He's a leader. He's won. You know what it is when you get him. Pay Bobby Wagner.
I would say that the Lions need to pitch and just do everything you can to get Bobby Wagner. I know that's more than one word, but you already said, hey, like we always said, the linebacking core for the Lions is still a weakness, and we all know what Bobby Wagner did last season. It's not for what he has done, it's for what he can do, setting his career high in sacks. In last season, Bobby Wagner would be an immediate upgrade to this Lions defense. Like I said, I think they could be a top 15 defense if you only add him.
There's only so much coaching that a coach can do to bring the best out of players. There's only so much that Calvin Shepard can tell Alex Anzalone. He can tell Malcolm Rodriguez. He can tell his linebackers crew. You got to have those veterans that can coach on the field. You got to have those veterans that they can see do it, what you're talking about. When Calvin Shepard's telling something in the meeting room, like, hey, okay, cool, guys, you see on this two-man ram, Sam, I want you to touch, act like you're coming. It's one thing when he's saying that on the board. It's another reason when you're watching the first ballot Hall of Famer, do it live in front of your face. That's another reason why you get him. A coach can only do so much, Sam. He can only say so much, show so much. You got to have those players out there that players can just eye in and focus and watch.
I'll play the Family Feud thing here. The number one answer is sign. That's the word I was looking for.
That's the word you were looking for.
Sign Bobby Wagner. You remember Hard Knocks. You remember Kelvin Shepard talking to his linebacker room. Who did he call out? He called out the rookie that no one ever heard of at that point except the heavyweights, Malcolm Rodriguez. He's like, I want you guys to play like this guy. Can you imagine what he says this year if they had Hard Knocks and they have Bobby Wagner in the room?
Isn't that something? I'm listening.
Sign the man.
I'm absolutely listening.
Sign the guy.
That's a very important part. He basically was calling out Anzalone, to be honest, by pointing out how well they're saying that he only trusts the young guy. Just think of that, man. The only guy I trust as I'm watching film on this defense, and my player is a backer, which one is the most physical position on the field, is a rookie. He told us last year he needed Bobby Wagner. Don't worry, we heard you.
All right, next one. It's a Lions topic again, and we've probably gone over it a million times, but it's always good to bring up. The Lions should blank a quarterback in this upcoming draft, first round of this draft.
I'll go first this time. I would say possibly draft a quarterback in the first round. If somehow...
Take a side.
You know what? I'm going to take a side right now.
Though.
If somehow Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud fall, I would be okay
with it.
Just
those two?
Just those two. If it's Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, I will lose my mind. And I will actually start to lose some faith in Brad Holmes if that happens. But if it's Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, I would be okay with it. Possibly.
All right, Bryce.
I hate doing the samesies, but samesies, like possibly. And I think it's only if those two guys are there. You know how I feel about Will Levis, and you know how I feel about Anthony Richardson. I think he has huge upside, but I'm not drafting him 6th overall or pick 18. If C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young are there at 6 somehow because of what was done, then yes. And so that's why I say I think he's right with possibly. Because other than that, I'm not drafting a quarterback.
You know my answer. Definitely draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't care what pick it is. I don't care if you're trading to get another pick.
I pray
get a quarterback in the first round.
They draft Will Levis just for
right now. I don't care if they even get Will Levis.
Stink.
I don't even give a damn.
He's going to stink to high hell.
I want Richardson anyway.
Stink.
I want C.J. Stroud. But right now he's going to drop to 6. But you never know, right? All right, here we go.
Will Levis.
Sam, blank will be the first player taken in the NFL draft.
Can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to go with Bryce Young at this point. It looks like the Chicago Bears, from what I've been hearing, at least are considering moving on from Justin Fields.
Would you?
That's tough because obviously Justin Fields, he didn't have a whole lot to work with. He showed some promise. I think, though, they're looking at getting a quarterback who's on the first year of his rookie deal, that Justin Fields... The Bears have a lot of holes to fill. They have a ton of holes to fill. So they might want a quarterback who's also on a rookie deal, who they don't have to pay for a while, and get rid of a Justin Fields. Or even if they if they still want to keep Justin Fields, maybe they trade back from the pick. Somebody wants a quarterback really bad, then they can go back and still get a Jalen Carter or a Will Anderson plus an additional pick. I'm going to go with Bryce Young because either the Bears aren't picking or the Bears will have traded Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the Chicago Bears. There's a different GM there that did not draft Justin Fields. And if you're a GM watching Justin Fields last year, Justin Fields' year kind of made him special and it hurt him at the same time. Because if I'm watching as a GM, I'm like, man, we got a great running back at quarterback. Justin Fields, if they would just kept running the ball with him, he could have had 1,300 yards rushing this year and broke the record by, I think, Lamar Jackson. But he didn't do himself any favors in the department of throwing the ball. They didn't have anybody to throw to, but still they got that on film. That's not the quarterback that they drafted. He's already going into year 3. They're thinking like, year 3, what are we going to do? So the first player taken will be, I mean, it can't not be Bryce Young.
I wish Bryce Stroud existed.
I know, right? You get the best of both worlds. I just don't think you can draft Bryce Young. Like I want to say Jalen Carter. Like I wanted to, Will Anderson Jr.
Well, if the Bears don't trade.
Well, yeah, but then that means that you know what? I'm going Jalen Carter, Will Anderson. Jalen Carter, Will Anderson. Jalen Carter, Will. I'm going Will Anderson Jr.
Okay.
I'm saying he's number 1. The reason why I'm saying that, I think between now,
you should bet him then at plus 1,100.
You know what? I am gonna bet. I think between this space, the combine space, and pro day space, I think the Bears are going to convince themselves they like Justin Fields, and I think they're going to convince themselves that they don't want the other 2 guys. I think they're just going to say, hey, look, you got to have a transitional player on defense, like a generational talent, to change that defense for the better. I think they keep Justin Fields. I think they get Will Anderson Jr.
I think Bryce Young will be the first player taken, whether it's the Bears or another team.
Will Anderson Jr.
I don't think it's the Bears.
Money.
I don't think it's the Bears. I think they trade that pick, and Bryce Young will be the number 1 pick.
I
think it's the
parlays.
Colts. I think it's the Colts.
I've been hot lately with the parlays. I'm just saying.
All right.
I won 2 during the All-Star game.
You did.
I won 2.
The lowest rated game in the history of the NBA.
Doesn't matter. Maybe $2,600 for my birthday.
All right, this is a 2-parter here. The Michigan Wolverines will blank
make
the tournament.
Ooh, I will go with make the NCAA tournament just because of how well they're starting to finally put it all together. And they had a big win against Michigan State, and then they go on the road to a Rutgers team who was tied with them in the Big Ten standings, and they get a win. They are now 10-7 in Big Ten play, and they have an opportunity. They got to win at home against Wisconsin, and then they got to win one of the 2, either at Indiana or at what's the other one? I forgot. It's they're playing at Illinois. At Illinois. They got to win. They got to go 2-1 in those games, and I think that will get them in. And what would get them even more of a cushion is if they win a game or 2 in the Big Ten tournament. They finished the season strong as they showed last year. I think Michigan will make the NCAA tournament.
Yes, Michigan is going to make the NCAA tournament. At the end of the day,
the NIT or the NCAA?
No, the NCAA. Okay. It is about team recognition. Michigan is a brand you recognize, especially in the last 10 years in the NCAA tournament. It sucks. Nowadays, kids aren't coming out of high school and going into college anymore. They're going to these overtime leagues. They're going to these they're going to these pro-am leagues, and they're playing for a year.
G League.
Because you don't have to go to college. You just have to be out of high school for a year. So we're getting deprived of the best talent coming into college. So you got a lot of bum teams. I couldn't even tell you who was 1 through 5 for the majority of the year this year. I just see this roller coaster of Houston and Purdue, and I don't know what the hell is going on in Alabama all of a sudden. Like, you have to have a Michigan in the tournament. You have to have Michigan State in the tournament. Has to be team recognition. This is at the time. NCAA basketball has been the most forgettable over the last 4 or 5 years. If I didn't do this show every day with you guys, I would not know that Kansas won the NCAA tournament last year and Baylor won the year before that. Yeah. How many of you out there realize that Baylor won 2 years ago? Don't worry. Man, you don't count. Don't worry, I'll wait. So you got to have a team like Michigan in, especially how well they've played in the tournament in the past 3 years under Juwan Howard and Michigan State. Team recognition, yes, both of those teams get in based off of that.
I believe Michigan will make the tournament as well. I had them last night. I believe in them. I think they're going to get hot now. Maybe make a run. And then, of course, the Big Ten tournament comes up. Same question, Sam, lead off with Michigan State.
Michigan State will also make the tournament. And the thing about Michigan State is they have a couple of wins. They have a win early on the season against Kentucky. They also have the one recently against Indiana. They're 9-7 in Big Ten play, and their schedule works out favorably. They got at Iowa. That's kind of a pick 'em. At Nebraska and versus Ohio State. Those are obvious 2 wins. Michigan State will make the tournament.
Just listen to this, man. I just looked up on CBS. The top rated 60 teams or 70 teams right now in college basketball. Just listen to.
I couldn't tell you who number 1 is.
I'm not even going up there. I want to say it's Houston.
I couldn't even tell you.
Because I think Purdue keeps losing.
It's not March yet. I don't pay
Alabama.
attention.
I think Alabama.
Yeah,
the 41-point overtime win. But anyway, just listen to these teams in the lower tier. Duke's 30. Illinois 31. You got Michigan State's 35. Rutgers 37. Memphis 39. Providence 40. Oklahoma State 40. Mississippi State 42. Iowa 44. North Carolina 47.
Wow.
Texas Tech 48. USC 49. Oregon 50. Michigan 53. Missouri. You can't have a tournament without those teams.
Where's St. Peter's? Where's my Peacocks?
Yeah, they disbanded St. Peter's after last year. I think they shut the schools down.
Hey, we had a good run.
You got Seton Hall 69, Wisconsin 70, Ohio State 71, Arizona State. You got to have these teams in there. Michigan at least is up in the upper echelon of the bad teams. So I think Michigan sneaks in with maybe like a 13.
Well, how about MSU?
13 ring. I think Michigan State gets in as well.
Okay.
Because I think they're two games on Michigan, I think.
I believe MSU gets in. They're a lock. Last one before we take the break. Red Wings will blank the NHL playoffs.
I'm going to go with make, obviously. You saw me drink the Kool-Aid either. I'm all in. And they solidified what they can be with that big home win last night against New York. And now they've won 7 out of their last 8. They're peaking at the right time. And if you want to see me almost chug an entire bottle of Kool-Aid, go watch the beginning of the show. I'm obviously all in.
The Red Wings will shake up the 2023 NHL playoffs. All you got to do is get in. I believe they're playing amazing hockey right now. They're going to get in, and I think when they get in, I think they shake it up, man. When you're the young team, not supposed to be there, nobody expected you to be there, you're like, oh, shoot, we're here, we're in, and our GM is Captain 19. They're going to shake up the 2023 playoffs. They always have been my second favorite Detroit franchise. Right now, they might be number 1.
How great would it be for them to get in and knock off the mighty Bruins in the first round?
Woo-hoo!
I hope they don't play them, though. The Red Wings are going to make the playoffs.
You know, and if the Red Wings somehow, and I don't even want to think about this, tailspin and finish the season outside the playoff picture, and you might be a little bit depressed, tell them who to talk to, Braylon.
Man, you might want to talk to SMA. Look, Sports Marketing Agency does an amazing job of having conversation on their website, thesportsma.com. And that conversation, that information in those platforms, it's about telling you it's okay to not be okay. But when you're not okay, where do you go? Where do you go get the information? Where do you go to find these answers? Well, you go to thesportsma.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, it's Maz for Cousins Maine Lobster, cousinsmainelobster.com. Click on that QR code right next to my big mug so you can see where they are right now and get on down there and have the best meal that you've had in a long time. You'll think you're in New England when you're eating that lobster, but you're right here in Detroit in the metro area. Cousins Maine Lobster Food Truck is up for Food Truck of the Year. Make sure you go vote for them today at freep.com. The Best of Detroit. Follow them on Facebook.com/CML for Cousins Maine Lobster Detroit. If you vote for them and they win, you got a chance to win a $300 Visa gift card. Let's get them that win. cousinsmainelobster.com.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Flannel Sam filling in for Ryan Ermanni. To my right is Braylon Edwards. We have Tom Mazawey in the Maz chair, JV Smooth in the audio booth, and Fletch on the 1s and 2s. I love the way that this is worded on the rundown sheet. Harb's the hero. So if you guys don't know, Jim Harbaugh, I think we have the video for it.
I'm a good headline writer.
What a guy.
Look at him. So
let's listen to it.
And then try to rotate? I don't know. I'm going to stand free of that. Think we try to rotate it? I don't know.
You got the mics on? Yeah. So this is last evening, Maz. Apparently.
Yep.
Tree comes down. Jim Harbaugh pulls up. I'm not exactly sure. Was he stalking the situation, or did he just happen to drive into it? Jim Harbaugh, being the hero, the amazing guy that he is, he jumps out of his car and he helps proceed to remove this tree out.
Helps the police officer move it out.
Right.
Uses that brute strength that he has. Everyone knows he is in shape, that guy. He could hit it in the weight room. Listen to some of the action here with the police officer.
Some grunting.
That Fletch didn't want to play. Let's hear it.
He's making all the man noises.
Lane, yeah?
All right. What's your name?
Cooper.
Cooper, nice to meet you.
You as well. Thank you, sir.
I just love how it's like just
feel free to spread the
subtly
word on
raining
that.
in the
Of
background. This is the best video ever.
Did you hear what he said? The police officer says, "You're a good man," and Jim Harbaugh says, "Feel free to spread the word. Tell everybody I am a good guy."
Oh, appreciate you again, man.
That was right on time.
Go get him, Harbs.
You have a good
Very
night.
movie.
I don't know, where are those condos? That looks like Woodbury.
So they moved this tree out of the way so at least cars can get through on that dark night in Ann Arbor. Believe me, a lot of people, almost 1 million people in the Metro Detroit area lost power. And hats off to DTE and the rest of the crews around the state to get it going. I know there's some people that are still out. Thank you for my power last night. I'm too weak to go without power. I need my power. I am not made for the brute natural light of day. I need my electricity.
Okay, now let's get into some real questions, Flannel Sam and JB and Fletch and Adam. Like, so did Ann Arbor Police, did they give Jimbo a hit up and say, "Hey man, we got a tree down here, man. It's a perfect opportunity for you to come out here and look good, man.
No,
you need this right now. You need this right now. Come help me move this tree. I say good things about you."
No way, man.
Look, man, it's Friday. I'm just having some fun. This is the second time that Jim Harbaugh has been in a situation like that. Remember he helped the guy on the freeway?
Yeah.
Where he helped change a tire or something like that, or a lady got stuck in the car?
He's a good dude.
Jim, he just always seems to be.
Strange.
He just always seems to be in these areas when things happen. I'm just saying, Nah, I'm just joking. Good guy, good dude, man. Not everybody's getting out of their car and helping. Like, I know some coaches that would have put the car in reverse and went the other way.
Now, Sam, I know you're a big Harb fan.
I am.
How wasn't that cool?
That was cool. I mean, no matter the circumstances, Metro Detroit just experienced an ice storm, which people lost power, which trees were knocked down, and people like me have no internet still, but have power. I had to watch the Red Wings in Michigan on my phone last night, but that's not the point.
It's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing. Thank God for cellular data. But
guys,
absolutely. It makes Jim Harbaugh did a good deed. He did a good deed they didn't necessarily have to do, and for that he should be commended. I watched that, and I know I'm being a little bit melodramatic, but
forget about the hamburger now.
Yes, I'm just like, that's my coach.
Thank you. Forget about the hamburger now, man. What hamburger?
Hey, Jake Wegner on the chat. A good one here. What did he say? He said Jim saw trees down and he saw an extra leg day. He could not resist.
he definitely got his squats on, man. Getting the tree, man, from the right leverage position, making sure you get the glutes and the hammies activated when you're doing the drill the right way.
Absolutely. And
Jim Harbaugh.
We hope that Jim Harbaugh is the coach for Michigan for a long time. MGO Blue actually posted something on Twitter. It was a Jim Harbaugh quote. "I'm here as long
Who's got
as
it better than us?
Michigan wants me." And honestly, after having a bit of a slow start in his tenure at Michigan, not really delivering on his promises from 2015 to 2020, he's been having it rolling. 2 consecutive Big Ten championships, 2 consecutive wins over Ohio State.
Yeah.
And
I don't like this. I don't like this. Here's why I don't like it. Last year, 2 years ago, Jim Harbaugh almost gets fired. But instead, he's kept at a lesser rated salary. Takes a pay cut, goes into the season, has his best season ever. He beats Ohio State for the first time, beats Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. He goes and loses to Georgia, but makes the playoff.
Yeah.
And then flirts with leaving to Minnesota. Actually, doesn't flirt. Tries to leave, but didn't know the interview was a serious process. Has to come back to the school. Comes back, signs a new deal lesser deal, but signs a deal that he can reach $10 million with incentives, which he did this year, comes back, then this year, after losing both coordinators, does the same exact thing again. And then now all of a sudden, names are out there again. He's not talking to Ward Manuel. You find out that this has come up. He hasn't talked to Ward Manuel since last May. He's thinking about potentially entertaining NFL avenues once again. He interviews via Zoom on the phone. On Zoom with the Broncos. They come in to Ann Arbor. Once again, he's flirting with going to the NFL. You're trying to figure it out. Jim, don't say that you will stay as long as they will have you. Because right now, clearly they've wanted you, but you've decided maybe I should leave. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Well, maybe I should leave. Well, maybe I shouldn't. So don't say here as long as you want me. Just say this is where I want to be. This is where I am. Don't give me the cryptic, I'm here as long as they want me. Oh, woe is me. Don't give me that. Just tell me, I'm here. This is where my heart is. I'm here at Michigan. Or I'm here until I leave for the NFL next year. Don't hit me with the I'm here as long as they want me. Yeah, miss me with that.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is it's at this point with how well Michigan has done in the last couple of seasons, they pretty much have Jim Harbaugh, if he was willing, I wouldn't say for life, but he's earned a lot of grace. And right here, right now, just with what he's accomplished as a coach in the last 2 seasons, I would say that Jim Harbaugh is the greatest football figure in Michigan history. When you factor in what he did as a player, being third in the Heisman Trophy voting in 1986.
Charles Woodson won the Heisman.
He did, but when we talk about Michigan quarterbacks, he's the only one.
But you said Michigan football figures.
Figures. I'm talking about as both a player and as a
coach. Tom Brady was there.
He's not bigger than Tom Brady or Charles Woodson.
But what they did at Michigan is what I'm saying. I'm not saying what they
that doesn't count then, because he's the only one that coached and played.
He did, but he did coach at the highest level and win a Big Ten championship and almost won and was third in the Heisman voting and was their only quarterback in Michigan history to be a first-round draft pick. Even your guy Chad Henne didn't do that, although he probably should have.
Hey man, you trying to size me up about Chad versus Jim Harbaugh? Nah, I mean I feel you, but yeah, you're talking about a guy that took over and what he's done has been amazing. He didn't fare so well the first 7 years, but he's more than made up for it in terms of what he said he would do. He said he would be at Ohio State consistently, and that's what he's done lately. So yeah, you want to add all together, nobody's even close. 100%.
Quick question for you guys before we go to break: does Jim Harbaugh bring a national championship to Michigan in his tenure ever?
Good question.
Why don't we wait and answer that after the break?
All right, let's answer that after the break.
That's a big question.
That's a loaded question. But first, Maz, tell us about the Folding Warehouse.
I know he would do really well at the Folding Warehouse. You see him moving those trees? Well, he can knock some pins down with a football. I guarantee you that. He might even knock the 5-pin down, which is the middle pin, and you automatically win at Folding. Get down to Hamtramck right now. 2 ways to play it. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 2 hours will run you $120, but you have 10 or 12 people on that lane with you. Any drink you want a Bloody Mary, whatever. Order it up. Bartender. Also, over 100 beers on the menu and the $2 mystery beer machine. Get your fold on today at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir-fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness is home to the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere for just $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10. Now, your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of your physical and mental wellness. With more than 50 convenient locations in the Metro Detroit area, no matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness nearby. Join in club today, or as always, you can check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Final segment of the day. Time flies certainly when you're having fun. And final segment of the week with me filling in for Ryan Ermanni and Braylon Edwards on Monday on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I know, it's been such a fun opportunity rolling with you guys any day of the week. I'm Flannel Sam.
Great job, Sam.
Thank you, Maz. I'm Flannel Sam. This is Braylon Edwards. We got Tom Mazawey in the Maz chair, JV Smooth in the audio booth, and Fletch on the ones and twos.
Can I come back to something you said?
Yes.
You were talking about Jim Harbaugh. And ladies and gentlemen, for out there watching, listening to Flannel Sam, he said biggest figure. He didn't say coach. He didn't say player. He said figure. He's not number one, and I can't put him number one. This is why. I can't put him over Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson won the Heisman Trophy. He's our last Heisman Trophy winner. He also won the national championship that year. The real only national championship Michigan has as a school, the real one that counts, one you look at and it's like, oh, okay, cool, it was in this era. So he did all that. And when you think of Charles Woodson, no matter what he's done, whether it's defensive MVP, whether it's Super Bowl with the Packers, whether it's the run he had with the Raiders, number two for Michigan always comes up. And then the other one is Bo Schembechler. I mean, Bo Schembechler, what he did, he created Michigan football.
What about Dez?
Dez is arguable. Yeah, you can argue Dez, but I just said those two, they definitely are 1 and 2. Bo, Wood, and then you can argue the rest. But Bo and Wood are 1, 2.
I mean, you made a good point about Charles Woodson. We were talking during the break, and I wouldn't say that I necessarily changed my opinion. It depends on what you want, because Jim Harbaugh has done it both as a player and as a coach at the highest level. But I talk about Jim Harbaugh in '86 being third in the Heisman race. Charles Woodson won the Heisman.
Thank you.
Jim Harbaugh never led Michigan to a national championship as a player. Charles Woodson actually led them to a national championship as a player, as one of the greatest college football players ever. Jim Harbaugh was a first-round draft pick, but he was in the 20s. Charles Woodson was a top 5 draft pick. So,
by the way, he made the Hall of Fame.
He did. First ballot, no doubt.
I will say this, though. To the average football fan, if you put Michigan out and say name the top guys, I don't think Charles Woodson rolls off their tongue. To us, he does. But to the average football fan, they're going to say Bo Schembechler.
No, absolutely. They'll say Tom Brady.
They probably would say Tom Brady. They probably would.
That'd be Tom Brady. Because I hear it all the time. Like, when I was playing, I just hear it all the time, like Tom Brady. I'm like, you do realize, like,
he only played a little.
My career and his, there's no comparison.
But here's the kicker. Offense always is looked upon before defense.
Because you're watching highlights. Usually highlights, like when SportsCenter first started, top 10, like all you're watching are punt returns, you're watching runs, you're watching wide receivers, you're watching quarterback touchdowns. Like, yeah. So Deion and LT, like the first defensive players, like on ESPN that you saw consistently. Deion and LT.
They made plays. They revolutionized the position. But let me ask you this, and I teased this before the break. I think Jim Harbaugh can catapult himself into being the number one, no doubt, undisputed greatest college football figure in Michigan history if he leads Michigan to a national championship win. Does that happen in his tenure at Michigan? I'll go to both of you.
I'll start. Answer is no. And this is why. You can't win without 5 stars.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say you cannot win without 5 stars. You show me the national championship, I'll show you where he led the country or was second in 5 stars. It's always Alabama. It's always Georgia, Ohio State. And when Clemson had that brief run of dominance, guess what? They were leading the country as well in 5 stars that they were picking up. Michigan does not get 5 stars. Right. You cannot win without 5 stars. You can win with 3 stars and 2 or 4 stars in the regular season in a bad Big Ten championship, but when you play in a big boys game, when you play with the big boys dance, you can't win like that over there. So I would say no, but this is the closest year. This is, I think, the closest year that they have to win it, and this is why. The landscape is about to change, and also you have J.J. McCarthy still. This is going to be the first year that you've had a quarterback that's been a 5-star quarterback that was highly touted, that's been a 2-year starter now, that's coming back. Like, J.J. is now coming back. There's no K. McNamara. There's no quarterback controversy. There's no dancing. There's no clavicle. Knock on wood. There's nothing to do.
There's orgy.
There's no figuring it out. There's no offensive coordinator. There's no this. There's no that. There's just J.J. McNamara and all that he learned from last year to the semifinals to this year. If Michigan's going to win it, it's going to be this year.
I'll tell you this. Just a Darren McCarty caveat to your deal. I
love it.
I agree with you, but I'm going to say 2 or maybe 3 times out of 10, the weaker team could maybe win that national championship if you catch that team on a bad day. Look what Ohio State almost did to Georgia last year. If Ohio State wins that game, they're going to win the national championship.
They're not losing
and we all
to
know
TCU.
they weren't the best team.
Oh, man. I want to say, you know what? I'm going to say yes. And you know why? Because it's going to be this year, as Braylon Edwards said. They're bringing back J.J. McCarthy, Donovan Edwards, Will Johnson. You want to talk about 5 stars.
Yeah.
Those are some 5 stars. And Blake Corum is coming back. And Alabama, I think it's going to hurt them more than you think that they're going to lose Bryce Young. When
Bryce Young, Alabama ain't the school I was thinking about anymore. It's Georgia, baby.
Georgia, that's going to be a tough one. They're obviously going to lose Jalen Carter, Keely Ringo, but they reload. They're bringing back Brock Bowers at tight end, who's one of the most dominant forces at tight end I've ever seen. And theoretically, I might expect their quarterback play to improve. I'm not really a Stetson Bennett fan. They're going to have a 5-star.
I'm not either. That's Maz and Ryan's boy.
So
shocking,
man.
Side note: Alabama has 5. Alabama has 7 5-stars coming in this freshman class. I repeat, I didn't say that's how many 5-star they have it at Alabama. 5 in this class alone.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy for Michigan. I know they're going to have to get that past some of the Giants. Like, oh my God, Alabama 7 5-stars. But yes,
give me 7 over 5 years, I'll be fine.
That is
7 in 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nick Saban.
Man, it's absolutely insane. And on that depressing note, unfortunately, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It's been a great week. Pleasure to work with you, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, my good friend JB, and Fletch, another one of my good friends in the TD booth. Thank you so much for watching. Get us out of here, Braylon.
Yo, my 40th birthday week has been amazing with you guys. Thanks to the Woodward Sports Network chat. You guys are great. Love coming to work and talk to you guys. Love everybody here. Appreciate you guys for making this week special. We're just going to keep this thing rolling, man. More mock drafts will come out. More free agents will be released. So let's see what the Detroit Lions do. And go Red Wings. Let's go. See you guys next week.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.